Today we'll be going over the Mythic banner for April 2024. We got pretty much the full details on our new Mythic hero via the Fae channel, and I talked about them in the last video. I don't really have much more to add besides some extra discussion. In the other half of the video, we'll be talking about the 11 other heroes on the banner. Since the devs want to celebrate Golden Week, we already got the update with Mythic Loki's info, including the uncensored artwork. As reviewed, Loki the White is a flying healer with 39 HP, 47 attack, 30 speed, 16 defense, and 47 res. She has res super boon, which I believe will tie her for the highest res in the game. Very high attack, paired with below average speed and horrible physical bulk. An arrow will take out Loki very quickly. For old skills, Loki has Return Plus, which is the reposition, healing assist. She has attack and res catch 4 for stats, and Glitter of Light, the offensive healer special that inflicts the flash status. Loki's weapon is the Supreme Thulk, 14 might staff with con to 1, built-in Wrathful Staff, and excited specials. Every turn, Loki gets -1 cooldown if above 25% HP. In combat, she gains bonus attack and res equal to 6, plus 20% of her res stat at the start of combat. Loki has a free follow-up attack, and she deals true damage on hit equal to 20% of her res in combat. If we take Loki's 47 base res, 20% of that is 9, so she gets around plus 15 attack and res in combat. If you add attack and res catch on, Loki gets around 70 res in combat, so that's going to be about 14 true damage per hit. Like most 5-star healers of the past year, lots of colors magical firepower, and Loki has a free follow-up if she's not stopped. She also gains -1 cooldown every turn, so Glitter of Light's going to be on 1 cooldown every new player phase. If she doubles, that's a special proc. If you can wait for 2 turns, Glitter of Light is pre-charged. Just a reminder, they buffed healer specials to always activate their secondary effects even if the user dies. Even if you can take out Loki, pre-charged Glitter of Light can deploy the flash status, which may cause trouble if her team follows up. For extra utility, Loki having Conto 1 is great. She can use Return to reposition an ally, then move 1 space. If you give her some flyer mobility sacred seals like Guidance, then Loki could be in position for some ally warping. Sadly, or luckily, Loki has unique C skills, so she can't really run Guidance for C skills or Soaring Echo. Is Divine Deceit worth the slot? It has 4 effects. At start of player or enemy phase, if any foes within 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit have less res than the unit's res plus 5, inflict the Ploy status and the exposure status on those foes. This is exactly like the tier 4 Ploy C skills. However, instead of stat debuffing, Loki will do another res check, but only in a line with herself. This time she inflicts gravity on those foes. For the third part of the effect, after start of turn effects trigger on either phase, if any foes in the Ploy range have 3 or more positive stats effects active, Loki will neutralize all of them. This excludes statuses being applied at the same time. For the fourth effect, if the foe has an active penalty, Loki just gets +4 attack and res extra in combat. Now, Divine Deceit is extremely powerful. Status neutralization is very rare, and there is no res checks for that part. If you're in Loki's 3 row, 3 column range, and you got lots of statuses, then you're gonna lose them. As a Dark Mythic, Loki can team up with Embla, who inflicts Feud. Feud disables skills from allies during combat. One way to counteract that was with statuses on the user, but Loki's gonna deal with that. This 1-2 punch effectively disables all outside support and just makes enemy phase tanking even tougher. In terms of player phasing, it's possible to get around Divine Deceit. We need to test it, but Citrine might be one way to bypass the skill. Her buff sharing happens after start of turn, and from the wording, this should mean it isn't affected by Divine Deceit. I think Citrine will lose her buffs, but her teammates may keep them. Emphasis on maybe. For a fun scenario, Loki versus Tina's Thief Staff is pretty awkward. Tina can steal your team's buffs, but Loki's gonna immediately neutralize them back. Now nobody gets them. It is worth noting that Divine Deceit only triggers against 3 or more active statuses. If you only have 2, then you're good. In the trailer, they showcased Loki beating on Lord Asker. Asker gives 2 statuses by himself, which are mainly just stats. Something like Rally Spectrum kind of just combines those bonuses into one, so that's something to consider. If you plan to player phase, statuses applied mid-phase, such as from Dancer B skills, are not affected. Do not plan to keep them going into enemy phase though. That is unless you can avoid Loki's range. That is obviously the main way to keep your buffs. For her new inheritable skill, Loki brings Dazzling Discord. Inheritable by all healers, this is a tier 4 Dazzling Staff upgrade. At start of turn, if the closest foes within 5 spaces and any foes within 2 spaces of them have less res than the user, then inflict Discord on those enemies. Inflict -4 attack and res on the foe in combat, and the foe cannot counter. Dazzling Discord does require a res check, so you need a high res healer. Like Loki, maybe you already got one running a Ploy C skill. Now for the 5-star healers with unique weapons, you also ideally want someone that has a Wrathful Staff weapon. For an example, young Emran has high res, but her staff has Dazzling Staff built in, so you're not going to have Wrathful if you go with Dazzling Discord. For some ideal users, Safi and young Lucius have high resistance, they have Wrathful Staff weapons, and Safi already has Ploy with Still Water. If you want the Wrathful plus Dazzling Staff combo while also having an extra debuffing source, Dazzling Discord is a new option. Overall, Mythic Loki will be a fairly annoying unit. If you cannot get out of her range and you rely on status stacking, she basically hard counters you. This is exceptionally bad for enemy phase tanking and kinda just another counter to those Prime 4A skills. If you don't have Endless Feud status, consider using those Feud C skills. While Loki's status neutralization won't work against 1 or 2 active statuses, she brings Ploy and exposure for her team. She can also apply long range gravity, very annoying, but those are res checks. Now, Loki's not going to get bonus res via Blessings and Aether Rays, but I would probably swap Catch 4 to Stillwater and consider using Phantom Res. If she needs to attack, you got a decent amount of damage and a chance for a pre-charged Glitter of Light. Finally, as a flying healer with Kanto, Loki might also be able to enable some warping plays. She can't use Guidance 4, but you can still slot in the tier 3 Sacred Seals. If you use Fly Formation or Aerobatics, Loki can warp, then reposition with Return Plus. What if she was also using Magic Shield for the extra action? Mythic Loki has a little bit of everything. I think she'll be very fun, or annoying. As a reminder, starting with this Mythic Loki, any future Legendary, Mythic, or Emblem hero at +1 merge, you can access their Merged Ordeals, a new Heroic Ordeals challenge that's going to grant you a huge 600 Dragon Flowers. Moving on to the 11 other heroes, Red has Legendary Yuri and Nanna, plus Severa. Blue has Veyle, Nerthuz, and Rearmed Reinhardt. Green has Thorr, Legendary Eitri, and Odor. Colorless will have the new Loki, Legendary Guinivere, and Rearmed Ginnungagap. Starting us off in Red, Legendary Yuri. He's a high-speed red infantry dagger unit with a bag of tricks. His unique foul play assist is a 3-range swap, allowing Yuri to pull off some incredible moves, either sending allies forward or rescuing them. From his C skill, Yuri gets Kanto 2 to move after foul play, and he gets 3 movement. He also partially will counter stall if it's on him, always being able to move at least 2 spaces. Feathers of Dromi also is an Omni-Rain debuff for allies. In combat, Yuri's weapon has Sling, Stats, Offense and no Follow-up, True Damage based on Speed, and 30% DR for 1 hit. He also has Attack and Speed Hexblade for adaptive damage, and Seal Speed 4 will pressure even the fastest foes. Worth noting, the new 2-stat Tier 4 Seal B skills kinda just power creep these single variants. Next up is Legendary Nanna, an offensive sword cat with the fairly rare ability to ignore all % DR skills and completely prevent defensive specials from activating. This will not counter unpierceable % DR on secondary special effects like the Armored Specials or Big Bad Emblem Ike. Lance Sword will also have offense and a follow-up and will heal 7 HP after combat. From her B skill, Nanna will have Near Trace Kanto, true damage equal to 20% attack, and built-in Desperation. For skills, she has Attack and Speed Push 4 and Attack and Speed Menace. Nanna doesn't really have any defensive perks, so she probably would prefer as much damage and speed as possible from skills like Clash or Insight. Last in red is going to be Severa, a Swordmaster who has Godlike Reflexes and the only unit with buffer 4, the Dodge plus Shield Pulse combo for pre-charged defensive specials. Severa's sword makes full use of Godlike Reflexes by giving her a DR piercing attack after defensive specials trigger. Legu's friend works in a similar manner. Severa will also basically have Special Spiral 4 entirely, so offensive specials have DR piercing and she gets -2 cooldown after combat. In addition, she gets Slaying, stats based on the foe's attack, and Guard. For another synergy, Attack and Speed Finish will add damage and healing when the special is ready. If you just want Severa's skills, she is in the normal 5 Divine Code shop. If you've been playing most events, you should almost be able to buy her already. Moving on to the blue group, we have Mythic Veyle. Without elaborating, wouldn't be too surprised if we see Veyle again very soon. She's an Astro Mythic that boosts defense and a Blue Infantry Mage. Veyle has the common mage spread of high attack and res, middling speed. Her main trait is her C skill providing scowl to allies. However, Veyle is going to be the one doing the res checks for them. She actually also provides 30% DR and bonus attack and res. If you need scowl on non-dragons, Veyle and the new Hush Spectrum from Duo Female Robin can be paired together. For other support perks, Veyle gives attack and res field buffs, resonance blades, and resonance shields. Very useful unit. For combat, she has Slaying, a free follow-up, true damage, and low attack and res. She can hit quite hard with attack and res tempo 4's half DR piercing, and attack and res finish is a great stat booster as usual. Next is Mythic Nerthuz, a light mythic that boosts speed. He's a high speed blue beast cavalier who has slaying, breath type cooldown, no guard, and gets more stats for higher cooldown specials. If you wanted a Gale Force mythic, Nerthuz is a solid addition. Full no follow-up, 40% DR and AoE gravity. She can also get Kanto via alarm attack and speed, and attack and speed clash just adds a ton of stats for the long range plays. If Nerthuz does take a hit, she also will reflect damage on her next counter based on the damage she reduces with her DR. Not that it was easy to tank in light seasons before Mythic Loki, but if you wanted some player phase help, Nerthuz can possibly be a better mythic option for your teams. Last blue unit is Rearmed Reinhardt, blue mage cav with great attack and speed. This Rein brings the Arcane Thunder Tome, slaying, stats, breath type cooldown, low speed and res, and full no follow-up if you outspeed. To be a true Reinhardt ult, Thunder's Fist gives some brave attacks if you initiate while moving at least 2 spaces. It also gives Rein +7 to all stats, bonus true damage based on attack, and 50% DR for 1 hit. For extra firepower, Speed and Res Fortress 4 will add 7 true damage per hit, and guarantees Kanto 1 now. You then got Defense Res Smoke 3 for potential Pathfinder plays. Rearmed Reinhardt is in the number 5 Divine Code shop, and having an actual copy will let you merge into it to refresh that arcane inheritance. Just always extremely nice to have rearmed heroes. The green group has Mythic Thorr to accompany Loki's new form, Astro Mythic boosting defense with an Axe Flower. If you've been playing Ricker Sieges, you should be familiar with Road Breaker. Thorr provides breath type cooldown in combat to nearby allies. Her axe has slaying, armor effectiveness, a free follow-up, and neutralizes all field buffs if solo. For fodder, she has attack and defense push 4 and flow guard, which I still think is pretty decent if you need offense and a follow-up. Tag teaming with Thorr, legendary Eitri is also back. She's a slightly bulkier green flying mage. Her tome grants Kanto 2 for the first 4 turns. She inflicts attack and res debuffs and grants a free follow-up. From her B skill, Eitri inflicts more debuffs, has 30% DR for 1 hit, and will empower her next counter with the damage she reduces. For fodder, Eitri has attack and res solo 4 and attack and res rain 3. Last in green is Mythic Odor, Axe Cav Anima Mythic that boosts defense. His weapon grants Kanto 3 for 4 turns, and he has a free follow-up. Similar to Reagan's unique special, Brutal Shell pre-charges itself on turn 1, and it's basically just Luna in terms of damage. For fodder, Odor has Green Dual Cavalry 4, Flow Refresh, and Attack and Defense Menace. Should be fairly obvious that the green group is feeling a little dated. All of these units are 2+ years old, and you can kind of tell they don't really have as much going on in terms of skill effects. Fodder-wise, it's okay, but again, older units, so older skills. If you want to summon the new Mythic Loki, you're going to have to dive into the Colorless group. We discussed Loki enough, but if you want the new Dazzling Discord, you're going to have to get a copy. Glitter of Light and Return Plus are also pretty good for healers. Joining Loki is legendary Guinivere, colorless infantry mage with good speed and decent res. With her C skill, Guinivere provides 7 HP sustain to allies within 3 spaces. She then has a bunch of combat perks for herself. +5 stats, breath type cooldown, and her own 7 HP sustain. With her tome, Guinevere has tome effectiveness, which is a rare find. She will also get slaying, another +5 stats, true damage, and flat DR based on 20% res, guard, and she disables adaptive damage. For percent DR, she's going to have Null Disrupt 4, and you can also be able to counter sweep effects. You then have Speed and Res Finish, since Guinevere should get to a quick special. I don't know if it's the best route, but Guinevere could forgo percent DR and stack straight flat DR with Lagu's friend, easily 20+ flat DR, and you can get DR piercing specials. She would lose out on Null Disrupt's main effect though. Last unit on the banner is Rearmed Ginnungagap, Colorless Dagger Cavalier with high attack and somewhat balanced defense and res. Arcane Void is an inheritable dagger with slaying, breath type cooldown, a free follow-up, and built-in sabotage. Unlike the 3-ma axe, you're going to have to find a way to debuff foes to actually get that. Luckily, Ginnungagap's B skill inflicts attack and defense debuffs, discord, and the flash status on the nearest foes within 5 spaces. That also spreads out to nearby foes, which is pretty annoying. This skill can also grant -1 instant cooldown right before Ginnungagap's first attack. The idea being, if a foe initiates, lethality drops to 1 cooldown. Ruler of Nihility will then charge it for the counter. If she's initiating, same idea, lethality is going to be ready on her follow-up attack. For other skills, Ginnungagap has Firefly Boost 3 for extra HP and the rare Fatal Smoke 4. If healing or miracle effects are annoying to you, this can counteract them. Like Rearmed Reinhardt, Ginnungagap is also in the number 5 Divine Code shop. If you have an actual copy, that combat manual can let you re-enable the Arcane Inheritance by merging into it. that'll be it for this month's Mythic banner. Loki returning at this time is a bit random, but maybe they're setting up an appearance for Book 8. If you haven't been in the know, currently Golden Week events are active in Fae, all Choose Your Legends groups are back as Hero Fest banners, or pack deals are available if you wish to spend. For our next New Heroes banner in May, that's most likely going to be the Fallen Heroes banner. Engage feels like it could take some spots, although that's more of an inevitability even if it's not this year. After the Fallen Heroes comes the Bridal banner, and soon after, Double Summer banners. I've been able to save up some orbs finally, but we'll see how long that lasts. Thank you for watching, good luck on your summons, and go beat Loki's Mythic map. Maybe don't bring a status heavy team, or watch your positioning. See you in the next video.